What up, guys? Nature Girl 30 here, and as you can hear, yeah, I'm keeping it down, and also as you can see, the location is different. So I hope you guys can hear me. I actually turned it up full blast, so if you can't hear me, well, there's really nothing I can do about that. But anyway, guys, it's another mini Q&A. You guys sent me tons of questions, so let's get started. And it's really late, that's why I'm quiet. But anyway, let's get started with the first set of questions coming from largest 85. The question that he sends me is, what are your thoughts on the whole Jimmy Snuka being charged for murder? I found out through Mr. Griffin's YouTube page. He actually did do a story on that, and I was really shocked to hear that after close to 30 years that he was actually being charged for murder. I'm really curious on how Tamina's taking all this, knowing that her dad's going to be in jail for murder. That's absolutely no joke, and I was really shocked when I heard that. But yeah, I'm still floored by it. The next set of questions comes from Elliot Powell. Since you sent me 7, I'm only going to answer 5, and the other one's going to be on the next Q&A. And hopefully next time I'll be a little bit louder. But anyway, your question for me is, from Minneapolis to Brooklyn, the people has shown the Divas Revolution is over. Do you agree that they need that? Do you agree that they need more women? Honestly, it's not about the women. It's not about having more women. It's about the quality. I actually did do a video on 3 possible things that they can do to make the Divas Revolution a little bit better, or at least enhance it a bit. But I don't think it's about it being lack of women. It's about the lack of quality. And there's a lot that they can do to try to bring it up to make it a little bit better. But that's just me. Your second question for me is, SmackDown used to be called The Big Show, but now it's so terrible it doesn't deserve a letter. Should it be canceled? No, SmackDown is an all-around brand. It doesn't make any sense to cancel it. And honestly, it has a lot more potential than Raw. That's my opinion about it. But I guess it's kind of hard for me to say because I don't really watch SmackDown that often anymore. But it still has a lot more potential than Raw. I don't think they should cancel it, but they can make it better and make it its own entity. Your third question for me is, of all the Raws we be watching, Vince McMahon himself is the only one who is watching and thinks it's good. Do you agree? It's Vince's show. Whatever he does, he thinks it's good. Vince has a giant ego. We all know this, and those who have a giant ego don't know that their crap stinks, or don't know that the product that they're coming out stinks. So sometimes some of the things he does is genius. Some of the things he does is just flat out stupid, but he won't realize that because it's coming from him. And of course, we know how big his ego is. Moving on from there to your fourth question for me. The only guys from NXT that is doing great is The Shield. Is Kevin Dunn and Vince setting up the rest to fail? No. In my opinion, I really do believe that when it comes to The Shield, I honestly don't know. It's not really The Shield anymore. Dean Ambrose is still, there are times he gets acknowledged, there's times being ignored. Seth Rollins is supposed to be the top guy at this moment, but even though he is the top guy, he's kind of not the top guy. And then we got Roman Reigns, who had a massive push at the very beginning, but then ended up being an epic fail because nobody really wanted to see him pushed. Either or, I don't see any of them excelling. They're kind of at the same plane that they all are. That same plateau. They haven't gone up or down. They're just there. That's how I pretty much see it at the moment. Your next question for me is, the last question for this Q&A for you is, Adrian Neville, the guy that Gravity forgot. Why is the company throwing him all over the place? It's just not right. They don't really know what to do with him. It just seems like Adrian Neville has so much potential to be a great superstar. The only problem is they don't really have a storyline or a decent feud to put him in. The last feud he was in was with Bo Dallas, and that didn't really fly that much. But he did have a great performance at SummerSlam with oh gosh, I forgot his name. not Aaron Paul, but with the guy who played Green Arrow. His name can't come to my mind, so if you know, by all means, leave it in the comments. He had a really great performance with the guy from SummerSlam, with the guy from Green Arrow at SummerSlam. So honestly, they just don't really have a feud to put him in. And as soon as they do, I think it's going to be a lot better. But I think his best performance by far was when he answered John Cena's challenge. But like I said, he doesn't really have a feud to be put in. And they're just trying to get him where he fits in because they know he has great potential to be a great wrestler. So at least they're trying. I'm not going to give him any grief about that. But, I mean, I don't know. I really am a huge fan of the guy, and I really believe that this guy has the potential to be great. It's just a shame that they kind of don't really have a place to put him. But I'm really hoping that someday they will. But let's go on to some of my YouTube questions that I have, and I do have many. And it's kind of difficult to start with one because there is so many. Yeah, because you guys have sent me so many questions, and I honestly don't know where to start. Yeah. Okay, my first set of YouTube questions come from That Monkey Dashi, which is an interesting name. I'm not gonna lie. What first game you played on PlayStation? Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was the first game that I played on the PlayStation 1, which was pretty cool. Ever watch any videos from your boy? No, I haven't, but I've heard a lot about you. I think Irvin actually told me some of the videos that you've made, and they're actually pretty cool. He's told me about a few videos that you've made, and I think he agrees with some of the things that you've done. But honestly, I think he's told me that it's probably with somebody else. But anyway, no, I haven't really seen your videos. I don't really watch a lot of YouTubers lately. But now that you mention it, I will watch yours, or at least watch a few. Don't you love it when I play Mario games on my channel? Now that I know that you play Mario games, I'm definitely watching it. Thoughts on the homie Super Mario? If you mean the game is awesome, I guess. Unless you mean an actual YouTuber, and I don't know. I wouldn't know. Thoughts on my boy Sport? I have no idea about your boys or your posse. Sorry, man, I really don't know. But anyway, thanks for sending me questions. The next set of questions come from, and I hope I said this correctly. Oman Maha T. I hope I said that right. If I said it wrong, my bad. Your question for me is, why do you hate The Miz? I don't hate The Miz. I actually do respect The Miz. The Miz gets in where he fits in, and I really do respect somebody like that. Thoughts on Axel Zema Zalden from Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't really play the game. I don't have a PlayStation to play Kingdom Hearts, so I don't play Kingdom Hearts. But I heard it was a really great game. Why do you stop answering Maria and Menudo's questions? Because I know people ask me those questions just to try to get a rise on me. So that's the reason why I have stopped answering them. For that sheer reason. Thoughts on Real Harold and Show Ro Hayor. I know I probably said it wrong, but my bad. They send me questions, and that's cool. Real Harold has always had a unique twist to his questions. Well, actually, no, Real Harold always talks about himself in third person, which makes him really interesting. But either or, he's pretty cool. And they both send me questions, which is even cooler. And your last question for me is, was Family Matters the black version of Full House? It pretty much was. But then it ended up being all about Urkel towards the very end, and then we end up somehow losing the little sister. Actually, she just disappeared. But then, yeah, it ended up being about Urkel pretty much towards the very end. So not completely, but somewhat. But that's it was still a whole round great show, even though nobody remembers the series finale. The next set of questions comes from Dustin Nunn. Have you ever played Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on Sega Genesis? I actually do have the Sega Genesis game. I played it, but it's not really all that fun. I played it a few times and I just got bored. But yeah, pretty much it. The next set of questions comes from Final Limits. Is Hilary Duff the only child star who didn't become a filth like the others? She's had her share of issues. I know that she's now newly single and still going through somewhat of a divorce, but she's had her issues like everybody else. Maybe not as extreme, but she's had. Who was your favorite Seventh Heaven characters? All I know is I remember Jessica Biel's character. That's the only chick that I remember. And the older brother. That's it. I don't know their names, but it wasn't such a bad show. But I guess she was the rebellious one until she got hot and popular, and that's why she left. Did you watch it since the first season of 96? I actually did get started watching it on the second season, towards the end of the first season, and then towards the second season, that's when I started watching it. What is your favorite thing to do when you play Shenmue? Honestly, I didn't really know what to do. I just wandered around asking questions, randomly punching people. We're not punching people. I just went around like the whole area, just asking questions the whole time. I mean, the fight sequences were pretty cool, but they were like quick time events. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did, was just go around and ask questions, but it was brief. Shenmue or Final Fantasy VIII, which one did you enjoy better? I would say Final Fantasy VIII because the story was great, as well as the gameplay. I enjoyed it a lot more than Shenmue. Even though Shenmue kind of had real-time play, which made it really, really cool. But either or, they were both great games, but I have to say Final Fantasy VIII. Squall or Ryo? Ryo Hazuki, the main character of Shenmue, alike. Are they both alike? No. Squall was more of a loner. He was more of a loner trying to somehow... he was more of a loner. Someone that didn't really trust anyone until he met Rinoa, and then all that kind of changed. But the guy from Shenmue was actually avenging the death of his master. So he actually did have a purpose while Squall was trying to find his. But either or, that was a good question. The next set of questions comes from Justin Side. What did you think of Big Daddy V? Well, I would have to say that he was interesting. I don't know. He was interesting at the time when he was wrestling, but that phase ended up just completely disappearing really, really quick. What did you think when Mankind got thrown off Hell in a Cell? I was freaked out because, actually I really wasn't freaked out. I was shocked at first, but then the one thing that puzzled me was what the heck that was sticking out of his nose. Then I ended up finding out it was a tooth, which made it really cool. What if Flair was the one to break Taker's streak at Final Fantasy 18 and 20 in 02? I would have marked out like crazy if that was the case, if he did break a streak, but I kind of knew that Flair didn't want to have that on him. But if he did, I would mark out completely. What if Freddie became a WWE commentator? He would be great at it. He really would. He's great at his videos, and he's great with details, so I would definitely say he'd be great at his job. Do you like beans? Do you like burritos or tacos? Both. Both. By far. The next set of questions comes from Twebble J. What if Sasha Banks won the Divas title? I would be happy because she's the boss and she would make that belt or something. That's just my humble opinion of it. Thoughts on Ariana Grande? Don't really care much about her, but it seems that everybody else really cares about her, but I really don't. What do you think of Miley Cyrus hosting the VMAs? But honestly, what I think about her hosting the VMAs, she did a good job of what she did. I'm not gonna lie. She really did make people want to watch, and she made people very interested in what she had to say. So I'm not gonna hate on that at all. Did you watch The Walking Dead on the Fear the Walking Dead on AMC? I actually did watch the pilot episode, but I just didn't really get into it. But it should be interesting. I mean, especially when people find out that there are like the zombies out there. I mean, that would be interesting. But anyway, the great set of questions. The next set of questions comes from Miguel Popoca. Why do you defend Ariana Grande and Miley Cyrus in your last Q&A? Just saying it's kids with a phase. Because it's true. They're kids going through a phase. You may think that, okay, yeah, they're in their 20s and go through a phase. They do. Miley, but the thing with Miley is I don't think it's a phase. I think it's just her now. She says what she wants, that's what she wants, and nobody stops her. As for Ariana, I don't really care much for her music. Well, some of her music's pretty cool, but all I have to say is that everybody goes through it. Justin Bieber went through it. They're gonna go through it. Period. That's all I say about that. Do you like those two divas? Those two diva trash. I'm not gonna call them trash. I'm just gonna say they're going through a phase like everybody else. I wouldn't call 50 a filthy animal, especially if you said it to his face. He would probably not like that at all. Will he pull a gun on you? I doubt it. He's more civilized like that now. At least I hope he is. What celebrity would you imagine have bad body odor? Miley Cyrus. I can imagine that. What did you think of Chris Jericho versus Christian feud in 04? It was okay. It was interesting, but I will say that Christian's feud of one more match really started to just wear me down. But his feud with Jericho, of course, was great, and Jericho really makes everybody look good. So honestly, yeah, it was great. It was awesome. No beef there. The next set of questions comes from Music Harmony. I have a lot of these. But thanks guys for sending me all these questions. If I can get it to open up for me. Okay. What if the Nature Boy Ric Flair joined a rap group? It would sound weird. What if Flair would, okay. What would Flair be like if he was a rapper that formed a group with his daughter and Hulk Hogan? Like I said, I don't think that they even, no, it would just be weird the entire time. The whole thing would be weird. What would you say if Hogan began punishing, what would you say Hogan is being punished for something when it wasn't a big deal to begin with? What he said, by any means, period, is offensive. That's just how it is. Anything that came out of his mouth was offensive. That's how it was. And whether we accept it is up to them. It's up to people who accept it or not. But honestly, what he said was offensive, and unfortunately, when he brings the WWE into it, if he did, then he would have to deal with that. Shouldn't Hogan have freedom of speech on black people if he wants to? Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Whether he says the N word, whether he does all this stuff, freedom of speech can be abused a lot. And yeah, everybody has a right to say what they want to say, but they have to be at least a little bit respectful when they say it. Come on now. Do you honestly believe that that's fair to black people to say that? For black people you don't know, and if you do know them, it's offensive. It's an offensive term, and it's an offensive word. You do have the freedom to have your own opinion, but for crying out loud, if nobody wants to hear it, you don't have to force them. Just have a little bit of respect about people and what you say. And if you are a celebrity, what you say holds a lot of weight. So come on now, have a little bit of respect. That's all I gotta say. Because you want the same respect done to you. Moving on to Nintendo Fanboy 1988. Have you heard that, Bram from TNA got arrested for being with his girlfriend? I don't really know half of these people because unfortunately I don't watch TNA. I don't have Destination America, so I really don't know who these characters are, let alone what they've done. But unfortunately, that kind of abuse is going around pretty rampant, and it's kind of sad to be honest with you. So if that happened, that's a shame. What are your thoughts on the NXT diva that got released for posting Nazi racist stuff on Twitter? She was Seth Rollins' ex. Her name was Sahara or something. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of her name. I'm going to have to look that up. And good grief, that's kind of messed up. And no, I don't know if Seth Rollins is Hispanic or not. I have no idea. Would you sleep with Ric Flair? No, I would not. Definitely would not. I have a lot of respect for him though, but no, I would not sleep with him. Moving on to Lino Gino. No offense, but why do you look so old? Well, I guess that's how you pretty much feel. I don't think I look old, but whatever. Is Flair better or worse than his daughter? They're both great. Seriously. And it's not because of the fact that I love Ric Flair. They're both highly talented individuals, and I think that they actually do show it. Flair was talented in the ring as well as being talented on the mic. Charlotte Flair is talented at her wrestling skills. She needs to work on a few things, but she still has the potential. Is her daughter better than her son Flair? I'm gonna be honest with you. Any Flair that comes out and wrestles is going to be great. So they're all great. That's just my opinion of it. Did you watch Jim Flair's match with Taker in '02? Yeah, I did. Yeah. It wasn't that great. I love Flair, but it really wasn't that great. What do you think? What do you think of this stupid hashtag Black Lives Matter? Trend when a black person gets killed. Look, if anybody dies, every life matters. And if somebody wants to start a trend like that, then fine. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of racism going down. There's a lot of racism going down still. And unfortunately, a lot of people from a lot of minority groups are dying. If someone wants to start a hashtag for awareness, let them. If it bugs you, then don't trend. Don't even look at it. Seriously. But everybody has that right. Moving on to Jack the Talking Dildo. And yes, that's his name, and honestly, your name is pretty funny. Okay. If I can just get this to work correctly. Okay. What do you think of Miley Cyrus mostly being naked in the 215 VMAs when she hosted? All I can say is that she's a nudist. She's a nudist. She's a vegan nudist. She likes being naked. So, as much as I don't want to see her naked, she likes being naked. That's her choice. I'm not going to say that that Billy Ray Cyrus, her dad, is a bad father. Unfortunately, he allows her to do what she wants because she's grown technically. She is a grown woman, makes her own money, does whatever she wants to do, but she's going to have to live with the consequences of that. And he's just being a dad. He loves her and supports her, but whatever she does, she's on her own, and she has to deal with the consequences. That's what a parent has to do, take a step back when the kid gets grown. They're going to have to learn on their own, and she's going to have to learn on her own. So I kind of respect him for that. Why is that wannabe Mariah Carey? Well, Mariah Carey and wannabe Ariana Grande at the VMAs. She wasn't nominated for anything except for collaboration. They already did the VMA for that. She really didn't have to show up if she didn't want to. And my last set of questions comes from Bro Pa. What are your thoughts on Kanye West running for president? It's just going to be like Donald Trump. It's not going to last long. It's going to fade out really quick. I highly doubt that he's going to even be taken seriously. Be honest, he's not going to be taken seriously at all. And I think he said that because he was high and drunk at the time. But anyway, Trump or Kanye, who you pick? Neither. Why did Beaver cry after his performance in the VMAs? Honestly, I think it's because he was afraid of heights. He was up 20 feet in the air. And plus there's a lot that he went through with the whole entire public hating him and trying to get deported. Maybe all the emotion kind of hit him all at once. Maybe he thought that he was forgiven. I don't know. Thoughts on the Lex Man? Like I said, okay, you asked on my thoughts of the Lex Man, and the way you talked about him was rude, but I'm not going to go there. I will say this. There are sometimes I think the Lex Man is a little bit biased, and sometimes he comes off a bit condescending, but that's how he sounds in my eyes sometimes. But he does have valid points, especially about some issues that are valid, and I do respect him for that. But like I said before, he comes off a certain way for me. But I do respect his views. There you go. Have you heard of that school teacher that lost her job in Orlando because the school principal found out she was dating a black man? I don't know. And if that happened, that's sad. But unfortunately, it's Florida. A lot of interesting things happen in Florida. But by far, if that happened, that's just flat out sad. But guys, thank you so much for sending me questions. I know I have not been loud when I'm talking about this, but I need to keep it quiet because it's very late. But either or, guys, if you have any other questions that you want to send me, by all means, send it to me via YouTube at my YouTube inbox or on Twitter at RKH30 hashtag Nature Girl Q&A. It's Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.
You don't wanna lose